Hi Shyam, sorry for the confusion. I finally found your letter and essay, and let's get down to work. So, first your letter, the apology and explanation letter, right? So, you have received a letter from the University of Albion demanding a reason for your absence from an exam. You have to provide apologies, identification, and an explanation of what had happened and any possible evidence you may have, and resolutions to consider. Let's see. Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing this letter to apologize for my absence in the exam of Big Data course. I am Shamro Power, having student number this, and my case number is this. Okay, good. This is a very nice salutation because you don't know who you are addressing. At least you don't have a last name. You also end with yours faithfully and with a full name, which is absolutely correct. Yes, this is the appropriate formal style that you have to adopt in this kind of serious formal letter that you address to your superior, in this case, the faculty. Okay. I only have one question. Why would you keep this space like this if all the rest of the paragraphs start from the extreme left as you left it here? So no, you don't need this here. No, your first sentence here has to start exactly where the rest of your sentences start in the subsequent paragraphs. Now the language. I'm writing this letter to apologize for my absence in the um, big data course exam. You don't need to put big data in inverted commas, and the word order should be as I have just said. You can also say my name is this and that, comma, student number this, comma, case number this. You don't really need to say having and. This is quite typical. Okay, let's go on. Let me explain to you the situation in detail. What situation? You really have to revisit the absence situation. You might want to start this paragraph with I would like to apologize again for being absent in the exam, and I would like to offer explanation, period. I was having excruciating pain in my abdomen, so I had visited the hospital. Um, Tense use. I would object using past perfect here and past continuous here. You can say, on this and that date, I started having excruciating pain in my abdomen, so I had to go to the emergency room and had to be checked into the hospital. After careful examination, the doctor, an article is needed, informed me that I have food poisoning and need to be hospitalized. If you're writing a formal letter, please forget about the verb get once and for all. We really need to keep serious and formal, so it is inappropriate to use the verb get for 2 days for further analysis. I wouldn't say analysis, I would say for further tests or for further investigation. I was in complete shock and could not think of notifying my situation to the university. This is very emotional. Uh, in an explanation letter of this kind, it is inappropriate to show how shocked you were, even if you were. So you can say that due to the complete surprise about my situation, I could not think of notifying the university about my possible absence. To provide proof of my condition, I have now attached a copy of a medical certificate and bills to this letter. You could say it like this. Okay. As I could not attend this crucial exam, crucial is not quite needed. Again, no words with emotive connotation are needed in a formal letter. It contradicts the style and tone. It would greatly impact My overall grade. Yes, it goes without saying. You're saying obvious things. So despite the great use of vocabulary, we should change the style a bit. So you could say, as I could not attend this exam, and this would have a serious impact on my overall grade, I would kindly ask you, or I would kindly request to allow, not you, just I would kindly request to allow me to sit the exam on another day and or grade me based on my past assignments. I don't think this would be the case. If you have to sit an exam, you will have to sit an exam. Okay. Perhaps here would be the place to offer apologies again. This would be very polite and in place. I look forward to hearing from you. Yes, that is appropriate. Yours faithfully, first name, last name. Yes, your overall style is appropriate. Just make sure that you avoid any emotive words, any show of personal involvement, even if you were in shock or surprised. Make sure that doesn't sound personal. In a formal letter, you really have to sound professional, apologetic, but not overly emotional. Your paragraphing is great. You do answer the question appropriately, but just make sure that your language fits the style of the task and you have the right word choice and the right grammar. This being said, let's have a look at the essay. Food travels, right? Okay, so some people think it would be better for the environment and economy if people only ate local food, and to what extent do you agree? How many paragraphs do you have? One, two, three, four. Let's have a good look at this. Experts throughout the developing and developed world have debated whether people should consume locally produced food or not. Yes, I can see that you're making use of the C2 template. Great. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from the USA. I wouldn't say USA just like that. Maybe USA government, maybe MIT University, because USA is way too broad. USA doesn't offer examples. I mean, it sounds a bit weird if you say that. And the Indian government? Oh, from the USA and Indian government. Okay. Cancel what I said before. To demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay. There's ample evidence which shows that the consumption of locally grown crops, this is a typo, I'm sure you need a space in between this, will help to protect and improve farmers' standard of living. Are you sure? Okay, first of all, I guess farmers should be plural and the possessive apostrophe should come after the plural. Okay, so what's your main idea in this paragraph? According to your first sentence, is that consumption of locally grown cultures will increase the standard of living of the farmers. Is this only about the people and the way they live? I'm just wondering. Let's see. The central idea behind this is twofold. Firstly, due to a decrease in the demand of global food, there will be a reduction in the transportation of goods to other regions, which controls pollution. Okay. Okay. Sentence structure first. The central idea behind this is twofold. You can go two ways. You can either remove this comma and put a colon and go on with firstly comma reason, or better, because you have secondly as a separate sentence, you can create appropriate parallelism which will play positively for your sentence structure score, which is grammatical range and accuracy, and you can put a full stop after twofold, capitalize firstly and go on. But if you say that due to a decrease in the demand of global food, there will be a reduction in the transportation of goods to other regions, which controls pollution, how does this improve the farmer's standard of living? Pollution is a global thing which can hardly be directly connected to the concept of standard of living. So you might rethink your argument. I mean, this argument doesn't quite connect to what you said in your topic sentence here. Secondly, farmers can earn a reasonable amount of money by selling grains, which enhances their financial status and therefore strengthens the economy of the nation. Okay, it enhances their financial status, does contribute to their standard of living. Okay. But strengthens the economy of the nation. This part of your reason again contradicts your main idea expressed in the first sentence. The paragraphs, the body paragraphs function in a way that you really have to support and develop what you said in the first sentence. So, if in the first sentence you say that the consumption of locally grown crops will contribute to many benefits for let's say for the country, then this is a formulation general enough that will allow you to say everything you're saying in this paragraph. But the way you're saying this about improving the farmer's standard of living, you are not developing this idea. You are developing the idea that consuming locally grown crops is beneficial. So you're actually playing for the wrong team. Please remember, if this happens, you will lose points in coherence and cohesion and task achievement. For example, recent empirical research by the USA government demonstrated that the Buy American campaign has increased its GDP from 10% to this in 2018. Thus, it is conclusively clear that eating locally produced food will make the environment pollution-free and support farmers. Okay, this example does not support the pollution-free argument, and it doesn't support the farmer's argument. It supports the country will increase its GDP. So what are you arguing for? Careful about that. So this paragraph is actually not really unified. You are including separate, disparate ideas that do not connect to the first sentence of the paragraph. So I repeat, the first sentence of the paragraph really has to combine the logic of your subsequent supporting ideas and examples. And I think, based on what you're saying here in the supporting ideas, that what you mean is that consumption of locally grown crops is extremely beneficial for the country. This is how I see it work. Let's go on to the next one. Although the consumption of locally grown crops is largely beneficial for farmers because your subject is consumption, so your verb is not are. You're not you do not do the accord between the verb and the subject between crops and are. It's between consumption and the verb to be. The importance of global foods cannot be understated. Okay, so this is a paragraph which says, well, you still should not overlook the global goods production or sale. This is due to the ever-increasing population of the world. This is due to the ever-increasing population of the world. It is impossible to feed all by local foods alone. I would insist that you reconsider the use of the comma here. You have two independent clauses. You have two smaller sentences in a bigger sentence. So it would be correct to separate them by a semicolon or by a coordinating conjunction like and, or, but, yet, up to you. If you leave it like this, would be a mistake, which is called comma splice. I seriously suggest you to research that and make sure that you don't make this mistake again. This is pretty frequent, but it's very easy to solve. For instance, an extensive study by the Indian government showed that only 20% of rice is grown in the country and demand for this grain is 40%. Yes, great example, absolutely great example. So the government has to import the additional 20%. Yes, well, here I would say connect the two sentences. This would be a great, longer, complex sentence, and this would be an advantage for your grammatical range. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that countries need to import the food from another region to meet the growing demand. Okay, yes, this is a great unified paragraph. Yes, in this paragraph you are arguing quite clearly for the fact that the importance of global goods cannot be understated indeed. Like, look what is happening. The arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although consuming local food is vital, fulfilling a basic need of the people should be the priority. If you have although, you don't need the but. You use only one conjunction or one cohesive device for contrast. In this case, although would work much better. So just get rid of the but and the sentence is perfect. Great vocabulary. It is predicted that most of the countries will import foods in the future. It is predicted by whom and how. Your essay does not really predict that. It does not offer any facts to say, beg your pardon, to say that this should be the situation. So please avoid formulations that would be way too categorical. You can say it may be predicted that most of the countries will import foods in the future because, and you use an argument based on this paragraph. So this is a very good essay, but make sure that you unify it, the first body paragraph, because you have the right arguments but the wrong topic sentence. The topic sentence is the first sentence of the body paragraph, which announces its purpose and topic. That's why it's called topic sentence. Your second body paragraph is great. Your conclusion is quite nice. Just make sure that you get rid of statements that would be way too categorical, because this sentence is not based on anything that you would say in the essay. So you have very good style in the essay. You have great vocabulary use, very good topical vocabulary. Just make sure that you take care of the corrections that I have outlined, and this will be a much better essay. So we'll really love to see you improve. So that's why I'm really hopeful that this feedback is going to be heard by you, and you will do this absolutely in no time. Thank you, and all the best of luck.